Okay, well, um, we'll see if this actually works. I am live now. This is the colorblind architect speaking, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm trying out a live stream, and my purpose of this live stream is that there's a lot of different rendering solutions out there and a lot of different options. One of the things that I've mentioned many times when talking about Archicad is how bad the rendering is when you're trying to do it on a Mac, because most of the rendering solutions are designed for NVIDIA graphics cards. So I'm actually coming to you from my PC. Yes, that's right. I have a Windows 11 PC that I built myself. It's got a NVIDIA uh, RTX 3060 graphics card with 128 gigs of RAM and a AMD Ryzen 9. So that's what I'm working off of today. So what you're going to see here today is I've got the office that I'm building in my backyard. It is right here. The um, I've got the Archicad file open, and then I'm going to be comparing four different rendering softwares. I'm going to be comparing Lumion, which is this one. I'm going to be comparing Enscape, and then Twinmotion, and also, not to leave them out, D5 render. Okay, so I've got four different real-time rendering solutions, and we're going to just play around with them. We're going to see how they do. Alright, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about was how they do with the general interface. Okay, now I've already linked up these files, so with each one of these, they should have live sync enabled. Now, with that, in Enscape, you actually can set it to live updates and synchronized views. And of course, yeah, if you're hearing my dog barking, that's because outside somebody is pulling a truck in front of the car, in front of the house, and they're doing some kind of road work, and well, he's mad. But that's okay. That's what dogs do, right? So, anyways, so with Enscape, that one we just, once we get that going, we've got live updates and we can synchronize views. Same thing with live sync for Lumion. We can, once we get the synchronization going, we can actually set it to synchronize the camera views. And then on D5 render, this one pretty much automatically does the linked views. Part of the reason why I'm bringing that one up, the reason why I'm mentioning this method, is this is something that does not happen with Twinmotion. So you'll notice with Twinmotion, there is no live sync of the view, which that is one downside of Twinmotion. Alright, so as you can see between the... Ooh, fun. Okay, come on. This is the challenges of doing it live. Okay, so let's go back to D5 render, Enscape, and Lumion. Okay, so here we go. We've got synchronized views, and I've already set up a keyboard shortcut for the Explore. So typically you would click on this little button here, and it allows you to fly around. Just like on a video game, you can use the WASD keys, or you can use your arrows on the right side of the keyboard. But in this case, I've set up a keyboard shortcut for Alt F so that I can instantly enter into this method of going around in the views. As you can see, all three of these are just automatically updating, which is really awesome. As you can see inside, this is what I'm planning for the office. Now look, Lumion, you'll notice, has really nice looking chrome right here. But, oh, what the heck is this? Yeah, sometimes the material libraries on Lumion are epic fails. Um, Whereas I'm looking at Enscape, okay, the materials are actually, reasonably good. I'm getting a little bit too much reflectance off the cabinets over here, whereas on Lumion I'm not. D5, actually, the materials are looking pretty good on all of them. I haven't really seen any of, and honestly, of these three, as I'm doing the live walkthrough, I kind of feel like D5 is the winner when it comes to just straight up how good it looks right out of the box. I mean, again, this is very limited in terms of what I've done to actually edit these. Okay, now here's another thing to check. Okay, what are we now? We go into the bathroom. This is just the standard lavatory, mirror, shower. So these are all just standard Archicad parts. So what are we getting with Lumion? Well, I think the chrome is a little bit overdone here, and the reflectance is kind of making it look a little bit green. I think D5 is doing a little bit poor of a job in terms of having the mirror material. And I'm kind of wondering, does that mean I need to actually edit this? Maybe I need to um, add some features to this material. It says that it's glass mirror, but it's not looking like a mirror. And truth be told, Lumion's not looking like a mirror either. Um, on this interior shot, I'm going to have to give it to Enscape. The materials actually look the most compelling, the most convincing right of the gate on the interior here. Now, granted, this is a pretty close call. Now, I'm going to open up Twinmotion just real quick, just so that we can do a little bit of a test to see how that looks. Okay, so right out of the gate, wow. So you'll notice that Lumion and Twinmotion are doing something similar. Um, they are trying to fake the glass reflectance by giving you a sky, but we're inside. That is a bit of a fail. Wow, that just looks bad. And I'm not sure quite how you fix that, because like I said, I'm not all that good at um, I'm not all that good at any of these softwares. I'm opening up some of these for like maybe the third time ever. But let's just try. Okay, so frosted glass looks okay, and then let's add mirror. Ooh. So I added in the mirror, but where is it getting that sky in Twinmotion? Okay. And similar, let's go into the materials. Maybe select the mirror here. I just want to see what happens if I change this up to a glass panels. All right. Just looking to see what happens here. Interior glass. Um, kind of weird. I was thinking that mirror would be like one of the built-in options, one of the easy to find. Rough glass. Interesting. Okay, so I just edited that, but I think if I'm not mistaken, we can go to the settings. Okay, reflectivity is all the way up. Double-sided, no. Yes. Transparency down all the way. Yeah, I'm not, and maybe you, in any of you watching this, maybe you could present to me like, okay, what am I doing wrong? I'm trying to fix the mirrors on Lumion. It's just looking all sorts of wrong. Um, I'm gonna throw that one out. Um, let's go for glass clear. Ooh, yeah. Still, I'm just not sure what's going on with Lumion because I remember it not being this bad when I used to use this years ago, before Twinmotion became um, a free option for Archicad subscription holders. So I don't know what's going on there. Um, okay, so on the inside of the bathroom, we're definitely finding that yeah, it's not good on either Twinmotion or Lumion. Um, Now let's see how the concrete. Okay, so the concrete's coming through okay on Lumion. Okay. Let's switch back over to D5 and Enscape and Lumion, since we can live sync views here. Okay, so D5's got, okay, let's look at that concrete up close. You know what? D5's okay. It's a little bit cartoonish, but it's okay. Um, Check out this on Enscape. Wow, that's actually, I like this softness, the softness of this tone here. Getting a little bit of this real-time render with the shadows coming through. And, granted, some of this could be the position of the sun. I think on D5, I think I need to go, how do I edit that? You know what? I think I just lost D5. So I'm going to have to open that one up again. Okay. It looks like we've got very similar shadow on Lumion and Enscape, but Enscape is definitely doing a better job with with that. So let's go back to getting that D5 up. Okay, and of course this is a live stream, so just understand this is not going to be the more polished type view that you're typically going to see on one of my videos. Okay, so let's turn on sync. Uh, yeah, I'm having a little bit of a problem with. Okay, let's get the sunshine up. Okay, good. It's a little bit closer with the shade. So that's what I wanted to check. Okay, what is it going to look like? Okay, so it looks like D5 is also real-time rendering and adding in this soft edge. Looks like Lumion, instead of doing the soft edge, it's kind of a jagged edge, which honestly, that's way disappointing. Um, okay, so let's go back to Twinmotion. Okay, so the first thing that I'm noticing in Twinmotion is, what the heck is going on with this concrete? I think I'm going to have to fix this concrete real quick before I continue. Um, All right, there we go. Now let's go back to the. Nope, nope, that's not what I wanted. Let's see if we can adjust the world around it. Let's get. I think what we want to do is. Oh wow, because yeah, they kind of changed where stuff is. So the last version of Twinmotion, the controls were all over here, and now they've got this different menu over here, so it's a little bit different. Um, but I'm not quite sure where to go to edit the sun. So I think what I'm going to do is just create a. Okay. Um, if we're okay, that's interesting. I think we're not getting a time of day. I think it might be the. I think I think it might be because I put a sky dome on this one. So in in Twinmotion, we have these things called sky domes, and it's under this, HDR environments. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do a noonday with a slight bit of clouds. Of course, they make you download all the libraries, so here we go. I'm going to create that sky object. And now how do I edit that? Okay, this is fun. Uh, so I'm not loving the way that this is working. So, because realistically, I mean, it should be something that's super easy to find where to adjust the sky. Um, no, I don't want to take a survey right now. Have you ever noticed that a lot of apps are doing that nowadays? Like in the middle of using the app, they just throw out a survey in front of you and they splash it in front of you, and it's so freaking annoying. It's like, hey, do you love this app? Click 5 star. And it's like, oh man, I always just want to complain and say, yeah, I was loving it until you threw this stupid survey in my face. Oh man, just awful. Awful, awful, awful. Okay, so with that, I that's import materials, populate, materials. Yeah, I'm not seeing where to edit the sky dome like you used to be able to do. Um, there used to be this way to ambience. There we go. Maybe. Okay. Well, that's not working. Now, I'm spending a lot of time on this, mostly just to show like how annoying it is that they changed where stuff is, um, and it's just um, yeah, it's just ridiculous how stupid they made it. Um, okay, so I don't want the media thing. just want to be able to edit the sky dome so I can get the shadows over here. And again, this is something that should be easy. It should be just as easy as just selecting it and then it appears. And what I'm seeing is this is not allowing you to do that. I'm almost wondering, can I delete the ambience and just go back to like a regular sky? I don't know. Because normally there's all the materials, all the items in Twinmotion are showing right here on this side. And so usually it's pretty easy to adjust that. So I think I'm just going to leave that alone for now, because I wanted to see how the shadow ended up looking. And I do have this in the standard editing mode. Okay, so let's talk about the next thing. How is it to place foliage? Okay, because one of the important things in doing any kind of rendering, we want to place plant life, we want to place entourage, various things. So let's just compare different options on what it's like to. Oh wow, that's fun. Getting a little bit of a lag there. I guess I shouldn't be trying to real-time render in four softwares at the same time. Okay. But I'm also kind of in this neither world where I'm not actually you know what? I wonder if what I need to do. I wonder if I need to go into Twinmotion and turn off that path tracer. Okay. Let's get back to Archicad. Come on. Of course, everything decides to go crazy right now. Okay. Well, this live stream is just going fantastic. But hey, it's my first try, so hopefully you can forgive me for kind of a messy bit. Okay. So I think I think I'm at least out of the fly mode. Okay, good, I am. Okay. So since we've got Twinmotion up, let's just see how it is to put in plants. Okay, so with Twinmotion, that's pretty easy. You can just grab some plants. Okay, yeah. We can try some different plants. Let's try a poplar. Kind of annoying that it pops that little thing out there. And granted, I'm just throwing stuff in, so none of this should be taken as like actually, none of this should be taken as like anywhere close to what the actual situation is. But yeah, let's see. What is that lawn element? Okay, so this is just like little funky elements. Okay, so let's go to bushes. Maybe like a fern. Got a banana plant. You know, there's a little. It doesn't feel like this is a very huge library, but let's see how it looks when we get up close to these. Okay, reasonably realistic. Okay. Alright, so we've got some plant life on there. Okay, how about in D5? Okay, so let's click on assets and just check that out. Let's see if we go into that's materials. Let's try models, nature, flowering tree. Ooh, they've got flowering trees. How nice. Well, you know, it is April, and here in Utah we get a lot of flowering trees. Let's see if they have any apricot trees, which are very popular here. Okay, let's try a search. Apricot. Nope. Well, that's going to be a fail on the apricot tree, but we can at least try some of the ones that we do have. Of course, the library is not actually live. Okay, so where's this render asset? How do I actually populate it? Oh, there it goes. Yay! We have it. Okay, let's try broadleaf. What kind of library do we have in here? Okay. Okay, we've got oh, looks like a tulip tree. You know, a lot of these names I do not know because I am not a landscape architect. I am a building architect. But honestly, scientific names I just don't typically know of plants. I'm scanning through this and I don't recognize these. Okay. Alright. Oh, okay, an acacia tree. We don't have any of those around here, though. I guess we can, and I didn't see any aspens. That would have been nice, because most common trees around here are aspens and Colorado blue spruces. So that's what I'd be looking for. Granted, I recognize all of this software, you know, they're designing this for like worldwide consumption, so sometimes I'm just going to try this one because it looks somewhat similar to a... oh, okay. There we go. It's not quite like a Colorado blue spruce, but at least gives us something similar. And I guess as we go in, you can see the shadows are somewhat realistic, so that's nice. Okay. Well, what about Lumion? Okay, so by the way, on the navigation, one of the things that I'm noticing on D5, it does not have the WASD navigation, you know, like video game style. I know that's not necessary, but if you play any video games, that is definitely helpful so that this feels more normal. So yeah, let's go ahead and see what our library looks like on this. Okay, so I'm selecting the library. Where is the library? I'm choosing nature. Okay. Place. No. No, that's not what I want. I want to place... I want to place a tree. Ah, there we go. Place. Because it was on select. There we go. Alright. Australian willow. Kapok. Japanese maple. We do get a lot of Japanese maples around here. How about we try one of those? And why do we get a lot of Japanese maples? That's because landscape architects. They like importing stuff. So we have all kinds of trees from all around the world here in Utah. But the native ones I mentioned. Okay, we've got balsam firs. Okay, we've got some palms. I noticed that with the scroll wheel on the mouse, I can go in between page 1 and 2. Okay, that's kind of nice. Okay, let's try a palmetto. You would never see that in this part of Utah, but you might see some palm trees in southern Utah in a place called St. George. St. George, Utah gets really hot. During the summer, temperatures are oftentimes in the 100 teens. Not sure what that is in Celsius, but it's really hot. I think it's probably above 40. Alright, so we've got some palm trees. Okay, now, what do we notice here? Okay, shadows. Yeah, the shadows are a little bit pixelated and splotchy, but they are at least, you know, accurately portraying them. What do the trees look like? Okay, let's look up close. You know, a little bit cartoonish. You know, the palm actually looks pretty good. Let's check out the maple. Okay. Not bad. I mean, it's not... I'm not crazy about it, but, you know, it does work. Okay, let's try Enscape. So, we're still having a little bit of trouble with Archicad actually functioning. Okay, because I was hoping that I'd be able to synchronize the views again, but they're definitely not doing the best. Okay, now, usually if I click with the left button on the mouse, usually that will okay, good, it did. All right, now into Enscape. Now, so Enscape, I have played a little bit with the placement of assets in yeah, let's not save that right now. Okay, I have played a bit with the placing assets in Enscape. Now, out of these 4 softwares, I will tell you right now, Enscape is by far the most unique solution for how to do that. So let me just trying to get a better vantage point so I can actually place stuff. So here's the Enscape assets. I'm not... It looks like it's just like a giant library. Oh, good, there is categories. So let's go to vegetation. And it doesn't look like they have any labels. So right off the bat, that's a little bit disappointing. But they do have this search tool, so let's try aspen. And yay, they have aspen trees. Okay, now you'll notice right away there's something a little bit odd here. And it is called, it's placing it as lollipop trees. Now, the reason for this is you have to hit apply changes. So I'm going to see if we've got a blue spruce. Okay, how about a spruce? Yay, we've got spruce. Okay, let's try a lilac. No lilacs. That's disappointing. Okay, what about lavender? Because we do get a lot of lavender here too. Okay. And roses? Oh, no rose bushes? You've got to be kidding me. Let's try rose. Oh, there we go. So I just needed to do the search proper. Okay, let's go ahead and put that. And then elderberry. Okay. How about boxwood? No? What else is really common here? No. No box elders. Lindens. We do have a lot of linden trees here. Of course, the linden trees that we have here in Utah, they're imported from Europe. But that is okay. So far what I'm liking with Enscape is they do seem to have a rather good library. So now let's hit apply changes and see how it does when we actually get to that view. Now, here's one of the other things that's really fascinating with Enscape. You will notice all those elements that we just added. Yeah, they just added to Archicad as well, so it actually added the assets. So that's pretty cool. So now those assets added into Archicad, but they also added into Lumion. Fun. And will they add into D5? No, actually with that I'm going to have to hit sync. Alright, and same thing with Twinmotion. I'm going to have to hit this sync button, even though I have the automatic sync turned on. It doesn't look like it's... So Twinmotion is not syncing in the Enscape elements, and neither is D5. Of course, that's a bit annoying on Lumion because, well, let's face it, that looks really dumb. Okay. Let's go back to... let's go back to Enscape. Okay, so... Oh. I am getting comments, and it says the volume is really low. And I am on Windows today. Thanks, Craig. Let's see. Audio mixer, Logitech webcam. I'm going to see if I can turn up the gain on this. All right, let's test that. Is the sound better? How is the volume now? Okay. So here we go. We're going into Enscape. Let's check out the quality of the trees. Yeah. You know, not too bad. I think all of them kind of have a similar, you know, cartoonishness, but still somewhat realistic. But one thing I do like is on Enscape you can see the wind actually waving as you move around, which that's kind of cool. Not sure how useful that is. I think there's a way to turn that on Lumion. And I'm gonna turn up the volume even more. Alright, how's that? Any better? Still way low. And sorry, this is my first time live streaming, so I I don't know quite how to do it just right. And also, I'm using a Logitech webcam for this, and it is not the best webcam. Okay. So I think we've gone over vegetation. Let's try some of the other assets. Twinmotion, I'm a bit familiar. I'm a bit familiar with this one. I know that it's got a fairly limited selection of cars, but yeah, basically, you've got cars, and then as you place them, it changes the color at random as you're placing the cars. And then if you want to get rid of them, I think you have to, not sure, how do you get rid of these? I think you just delete them. Alright. So, yeah, that's Twinmotion. Let's see how placing cars on D5 is. Okay. Assets. There we go. I forgot that on D5 it's got like its own window. And by the way, here's something else to notice. All these other softwares, if you're on Windows, it does the auto, you know, pop into place. D5, it does not pop into place, which I find that kind of interesting. But I mean, all in all, I mean, I do like D5. It's a pretty cool rendering app. Let's try. No, no. There we go. Vehicles. Let's try large and medium sized because I'm in Utah and everything's large here. Yeah, that's right. Let's go with the most ubiquitous vehicle here in Utah, the Ford F-150. Okay, there we go. It's a decent looking model. Let's see if it does any color changes. Okay. And Craig, what I can tell you so far, I am leaning against Lumion, and I am also leaning against Twinmotion. My two favorites right now are Enscape and D5. I do have a 1 month subscription that I purchased on D5 because I ran out of the trial, and I was really liking it, but then somebody told me to try Enscape, and I hadn't tried that before, and so that's why I'm currently on the trial of Enscape. Of the four, what I can say is Lumion now has an annualized monthly subscription, so you do have to go for a minimum of 1 year. Whereas on D5, you do have the option of a 1 month subscription and also an annualized monthly subscription. In Enscape, from what I can tell, it looks like it's also an annualized monthly subscription, and you have to do a full year. But you do get a discount if you go for a 3 year. On Twinmotion, I have no clue what the pricing is, and here's the reason why. A few years ago, Archicad came out with a deal with um, Epic Games, and Epic Games, they're the makers of what's that game? Fortnite. And Fortnite, my 13-year-old son actually has been playing it recently, but because Epic Games has been making billions of dollars off of teenagers playing Fortnite, they decided to buy Twinmotion and partner up with Archicad and provide Archa Plus subscription holders a free license of Twinmotion. Now, I think that was only for people who had the Archa Plus subscription at the time. So I've got a perpetual license of Twinmotion, so I can still use that anytime. So that's why I've been using Twinmotion mostly, even though, quite honestly, it does a fair job. I think it does a decent job of rendering, but it's definitely not as good as what I've seen some other software doing. Um, but yeah, back to the vehicles. What I wanted to look at is on each of these vehicles, if you select this, it looks like it doesn't automatically change the colors. So it looks like you have to manually select the colors, which is a little disappointing. Just because if you're trying to like rapid fire, um, like let's say you've got like a parking lot with like 60 stalls and you need to populate it with a bunch of cars really fast, it is kind of nice to be able to just throw the cars in there very fast and have them automatically change colors. Okay, so it looks like, so yeah, that's interesting. Thanks, Craig. So it says, Craig says that he has a Twinmotion license through his Archicad 24, SSA, or basically what we call here in America Archa Plus, um, and that possibly Revit users are also um, getting Twinmotion. Okay. So I'm going to try the Enscape vehicles now. Let's try popping in pickup. No. Truck. Car. Interesting. Yeah, so let me go back to the origin of that. Said, yeah, you know what? It was probably because I had the filter set to that. Okay, so let's look for pickup trucks. Alright, I'm gonna just search because, all I think a search is always very helpful. Ooh. Yeah, so I'm guessing that Enscape is not based here in the US, uh, at least the programmers. And my reason for guessing that is if you're in the US, you're gonna be referring to a pickup truck or a Ford F-150 as a truck, not as a car. So let's see if it shows up as a car. Looks like they've got some simplified. Oh, there it is. Car 52. Let's pop that into place. And we'll go ahead and place 4 of them. Apply the changes. And let's see how that comes through. Okay. Looks like, again, just like D5. Yeah, D5 is also not, Enscape's also not doing the randomized colors, but that's okay. Let's see, how do we change that? I think I need to turn on the asset viewer, and again, like I said, this is a trial. I have not done enough research on this to actually know what I'm doing. But I'm sure there's got to be a way to change the colors of the cars. Okay, back to Lumion. That one's a pretty easy one. The one thing that I really like about Lumion is how easy it is to place objects. It just, you just grab them and go. Similar to Twinmotion, it does also randomize the colors, so that's very nice. And it is also relatively easy to find the delete button. Okay, so apply changes. Yeah, let's see. How do we delete in D5? I would say it looks like we just select it and nope, that's not the case. Yeah, I'm not really seeing where the option to delete is, but I wonder if you have to. Ah, there you go. You delete it from the object, this pull down. Okay, there we go. And then on Twinmotion, it's also just as easy. You just select an object, and you can hit delete. And of course, can you undo that? Control Z does not work. Should. Or, no, never mind. See, that's the problem with being a Mac user. I get so used to the Mac keyboard that then when I'm in Windows, sometimes that oversized shift button of the Windows keyboard uh, is the undoing of me. The other thing you'll notice if you're switching back and forth in between Windows and Mac, there's um, the placement of the command key on the Mac is where the Alt key is on Windows, and in Archicad you're switching. In Windows you're using the Control key to do the same function as the command key, so it's different finger positions. So it takes some getting used to every time you switch back and forth in between the two platforms. Just thought I'd mention that. Okay, so I think the next thing I wanted to look at is lighting. So, we've looked at the media on this. I'm really kind of irritated with the way that they changed the settings on Twinmotion. It used to be like super easy to change the sky and everything, and yeah, one of the stories I like to tell is on my iPhone. I've got a I've got a Sudoku app that sometimes I just like to play a little Sudoku when I'm you know waiting for something, like maybe I'm waiting at the airport, and I just have a few minutes to play a quick game of Sudoku. Well, on this Sudoku app, the app developers, they changed the user interface layout, where all the commands were, and the numbers and all that. They had such a huge backlash from the user base that they actually, in the next version, they reverted back because it was just that annoying. And I think I'm getting a little bit of a weird, um, yeah, I'm getting a little bit of a weird green screen effect there. I apologize for that. Um, okay, so so yeah, anyways, I've already set up this view with a night sky, and the reason why I did this is, okay, on Twinmotion, with the lighting, I've got Archicad lights already placed, and so the purpose of this test is to see how well nighttime renders look. Um, so that will be the function of this. I'm just going to go ahead and turn off the synchronized views for right now. It's kind of killing everything. Yay. Lovely to see that it's not working. Obviously, this works a lot better when I'm not live streaming to YouTube and running 4 real-time rendering apps all at the same time, all in uh, all in GPU-enabled uh, ray tracing mode at the ultra high settings. Okay, so you know maybe you shouldn't do that, but hey, it's good to know that my computer is freaking awesome and that it can do it. Okay, so my point is, okay, so I've got these can lights already set in the Archicad model. Now, one of the things I like to do in Archicad for renderings is I like to take the can lights and these recessed spots, um, because one of the problems in the renderings is they always look empty, because if you have them set in the light parameters to emitting light, which is this mode right here, yeah, that's great for renderings, but the problem is then the little disc of light that you would see in real life with a can light doesn't exist. It's just it looks like it's off, so it looks really weird. And let me illustrate that real quick. So if I synchronize this Twinmotion view after setting that, and let's see if it actually updates. It does not look like it's updating. Actually, I've got one already here. So in this vestibule right here, you can see how it looks. So what I've done on this one is this one is actually set to emitting light, but I ended up having to add a Twinmotion light here. Now, on these other ones, what I have is this light, and of course, I don't know why it's lagging so much. If you turn off the light emitting, it turns it to just kind of like a dumb object. And then when you go to the model representation, you can actually set the glass of the light fixture to glass lamp 26 if you're in version 26 like I am. Let me go into the surfaces settings in Archicad to illustrate why that is. So then what you do is you go down to glass lamp. So this is actually one that you can pull from the library. So if you go to new surface and new from catalog, and then you go down to Archicad 26 library glass, and there is actually one called glass lamp right here. What that will do is it will set the emission up to 75 so that when it renders it actually shows as a light source. And again, this green screen is doing all kinds of funny things. Not sure why it's doing that. Oh, did I just do something really crazy? Okay, yeah, so I'm just gonna have to deal with the fact that that's not functioning right. Oh, you know what? It's because my light's up above. Yeah, so I had some lights set up for this green screen, but they were battery powered. Because if you've seen my home office, it's actually a utility closet, and so behind me is a furnace and a water heater. That's why I'm actually building this new office. Now, if you've been following my channel, the state of that office has been kind of crazy because I put in the concrete footings in back in October, and then our winter here in Utah was just so crazy epic. We had over 900, well, almost 900 inches of snow at Alta Ski Resort, which is about a 40-minute drive from me. Here in the valley, we didn't get nearly that much, but obviously it was, snowing and raining pretty much consistently for 6 months straight. And we're finally getting sunshine now, so I'm finally getting back to working on it. So yeah, that's why I'm still in this room. Uh, but yeah, those lights, they're actually they've got little magnets that attach up to a ductwork. Just a metal duct, and then and it's just a battery powered light, and the batteries went out, and so that's why the green screen's doing this weird thing now. Okay, so let's move on to Lumion. this one's pretty easy to change the lighting. We can set the light down like that. Now on this one, I have already set up some Lumion lights. So if we go back to the content library and switch to lights, you can actually see I've placed these lights here. Now if I go back in here, so you'll notice what I've done, because on Lumion, because I've got the lamp set to be the lamp glass instead of the emitting light. On Lumion, it's showing up as that disk of light. Now it's way too powerful, so I would suggest on this one, if you're working with Lumion, we'd want to change this. We'd want to change the surface. Yeah, we'd want to change the surface to maybe a little less. Maybe we set that to a 50% emittance. And start camera sync. Yeah, that helps a little bit, but not too much. Just adjusting the camera view just a little bit, trying to get them all synchronized. It would be nice if Archicad was not lagging so much right now. Alright, just gonna come in real quick. Let's go ahead and just set that view. That's probably close enough. I think I can select that light. Okay, so as we go back in to Lumion, so as you can see, that disk is not showing up, even though I have a light fixture on that can light, and you can see how it's creating the cone. So yeah, that Lumion light is working, but it is not showing up with the disk of light. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back in here and we're going to turn this one over to this setting and then switch that back to the glass lamp. Alright. And voila. Okay, so now we've got, you know what? That was annoying. What the heck happened to that lamp? Anyways. But even though I changed the even though I changed the emittance on that, you'll notice it's still creating these really bright stars. The other thing that I'm not liking about this nighttime render is you notice how it's just all blacked out at the ceiling, which is completely unrealistic. There should be a bit more reflectance off the other surfaces, you know, the concrete, the stone. It should realistically lighten this up. So this is way too, I'd say way too uh, over processed. Like too. It's just not realistic. So let's try Twinmotion. Okay, so as I mentioned, similar in Twinmotion to Lumion, we've got the discs of light, great, but we have to put our own light fixtures in. So in this case, I'm just going to choose one so that we've got one. That's like way too bright. And that's one of the other things is like some of these light fixtures, if you select them, you can kind of change out the lumens, you know, maybe lighten it up so it's not so bright. And maybe adjust that. So that is a nice feature of these. I think Lumion has a very similar thing where you can select this, and then you can adjust light source radius. We can turn it on whether it's night or not. Whether it casts shadows. The other nice thing in Lumion is you can also load the IES profiles, which it doesn't look like it allows you to do in Lumion or in Twinmotion. I'm at least not seeing that option. Oh, nope, there it is. Okay, so good. They do allow you to do the IES profiles. So that's a win for Twinmotion. Okay, so both Lumion and Twinmotion, they seem to behave almost identically when it comes to night lighting the scene. So let's go back into, ooh, yeah, that's fun. Let's go back into D5. D5's got a little bit different of a user interface. Now, as I mentioned, D5 also has a really easy setting for the lights. We can set that. Now, the part that's nice about D5, I would say, it looks like it at least still allows somewhat of a glow so that you can still see the stuff. Unfortunately, it means it's not very realistic. This is way too bright for that night of a scene. The other thing that I'm noticing is this is, yeah, it looks like I have to send the lights. Okay, so what that means is, so in Lumion, no, I mean in D5, I think, let's see if there's any lights. So in D5, it looks like it's actually light fixtures, and these are some pretty good looking models. I mean, I would say at least kudos for realistics. I mean, that's one of the things I'm liking about D5 is the library seems really well put together. It's got a great selection. Okay, but I don't know if these are actual lights. Let's just test one out. Alright, so this is just a test to see if it's actually emitting light, which it is. Okay, so that's good. So at least you've got that option. I'm not sure if it had... I don't remember seeing just like a straight up can... Okay, yeah, it does have a can light. So let's see how that one looks. Ooh, that's actually... It's actually not too bad. It's a little bit crooked because of course this is a sloped section of roof. So it looks like I can rotate it on an axis and there's a graphical user interface. Nice. And just pop that just down slightly. Now let's see, does that actually give us the disk of light? Well, it's kind of hard to tell. See, here's what I'm not liking about D5 is at nighttime, this surface is way too bright for something that doesn't have very many light fixtures. It really shouldn't be that bright. And so it's kind of hard to tell, and it does seem like it's casting light, but yeah, that's a disappointment. So now let's try selecting this light fixture, because this is one of the interesting things with D5 if you go back and switch this to casting light, and then we can go to the D5 render menu, send lights. And it should send that light. Let me delete those so that we can actually see. Doesn't look like it sent the light. Let me just make sure that I've got that set on. Okay, lights. And also let's... Okay, yeah, that should be sending. So I'm wondering if the problem is I need to resync it. That's probably the problem. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, yeah, because if you remember, earlier in this live stream, the D5 window crashed and I had to restart it. So looks like you have to restart it. So let's go ahead and send the lights. Okay, there we go. And you can see the real-time rendering taking place. It actually starts casting the light. The downside of it is we're not seeing the disk of light. So now there is an alternate way of handling that. And maybe I'll do a tutorial some other time. There is a way that if you really want that disk of light to show, you can actually create a slab that you place just below this light fixture, and you set it to be that glass lamp 26. That way, when it comes through, it will actually show up as a disk of light in these different rendering softwares. But then you can also have your actual active lights. So back to this. Let's go inside, see how that comes through. So the thing that I'm not liking here, though, is you'll see the disk of light's not even showing up. That's not a feature on D5, which I think means we have to go to the material settings, which, if I can remember how to get to that, or maybe it was just grabbing that object. Material template custom. So yeah, that's interesting. So let's try a simulated glass material and transparency down. But I don't see an emittance one. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a function for that. So let's just go there we go. Emissive. Oh, but see, it's doing like the ring of light too. See, that's disappointing. Yeah. And again, I'm still learning, so I could be just totally doing this wrong. I'm gonna undo that setting, and then let's select that again. Batch import, PBR textures, duplicate, reset. Yeah, I'm not really seeing where to change the materials, unless it's in the assets. Ah, there we go. It's in the assets. Okay. So let's see if there's a lamp material in the glass here. I don't see that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and try to change that. Okay, so it looks like that doesn't give me the option of adding emissivity. So yeah, that's disappointing. Yeah, I really like D5 in a lot of ways, but that's kind of a deal breaker for me if I can't, because that makes the renderings at night just not look quite right. So, but I mean, in general, it does a pretty good job, and I really hope that D5 keeps developing because I like this competition. So now let's move on to Enscape, and let's see, we're gonna go to the view, atmosphere, sky. No, I don't think was that. And again, I'm still learning. So, Craig, if you're still on, if you want to tell me how to change the night sky. um, but also, I think if I turn on the view management, yeah, that's right. That's how we do it. So we edit that, pop this down to a nighttime view. All right. Save. Okay. So nighttime render. First thing I'm noticing with Enscape is it is carrying through the disks of light, which is great. Okay. Now, somehow, I'm getting two lights in here, even though I thought this was set to, okay, that is set to emit light. Let's just turn that. Okay. So what we can see here is we've got the disks of light. That's good. So let's go ahead and select a few of these lights just to go ahead and switch them over. So I'm really liking the fact that Enscape is it's just automatically synchronizing the lights. That is awesome. Unfortunately, it's not bringing through that disk of light, but I think that's probably a similar situation to before, where I think we could probably just create a slab um, that has that lamp material so that we can fake it. I think that's a fine. It looks like Enscape, Twinmotion, and Lumion. That's just the way it's gonna be. Okay. Finally, on that, let's adjust those lights down because that's way too bright. Change to absolute light intensity. Whew, 1800 lumens per fixture. Wow. Yeah, let's go with like maybe 100 lumens. That's a bit better. That's more tolerable. Because yeah, it was way too bright before. And then just to do that little feature, I'm gonna. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let's change this to renders. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this slab, set it to A lights, maybe a 1/4 inch. Set it up to about 9 feet for now. I'm going to set this to glass lamp. Oh, no, actually, I'm going to do airspace and then set the surface material. I'm going to set that to glass lamp 26. And I'm just going to go ahead. I know there's an easier way. I know I could draw a circle and then just magic wand it. I'll do both ways for now, just to illustrate. Okay. And of course, that didn't come through because... Yay! We got a crash. Fun. Well, that's just the way live streams work, right? Okay. Okay, we're opening that back up, but in the meantime, it looks like we also lost Enscape, which is tied to Archicad. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and just save out of these other softwares. Okay. Looks like I've got some CAD image libraries to update. Okay, now that was fun. Okay, so yeah, the whole point of that was to get that little disc of light. So let's Enscape, start Enscape. There we go. And now that's going to go ahead and load in. Okay, and now let's go ahead and pop that up. Okay, so there we go. We've got the disc of light, and we've got the casting of the light from the actual light fixture. I think that's our winning methodology for working with Enscape. Now, when it comes down to price, I thought it would be a good idea to show the pricing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring up a quick browser window so we can talk about the most expensive one and the product, plans, and pricing. Okay, so Lumion, what do we got here? So with Lumion, at least here in the United States, if you want to go for just the standard license, it's $54 a month. Now, this is an annualized subscription. They do not give you a monthly option. You basically pay the $650 up front. But if you want their full library, then you have to go with the $108 a month or $1,300. So $1,300 a year. That is very expensive, and I think, as we've already seen, the quality was, I mean, Lumion does a lot right. Ease of use is probably the best part. It is by far the easiest to use. A few years ago, when I was using Lumion before I used Twinmotion, there was a Lumion competition for kids, and even my at the time, my youngest was 5, and she even did a Lumion rendering. They do have a 3-year option, and that reduces the cost just a shave. I mean, we're talking, look at that, $54 versus $50. So you save $4 a month if you commit for 3 years. Or you go from 108 to 97. So you save a whole whopping $8 on the Pro subscription. Yay. All right, let's check out Twinmotion. So if you don't already have the free version from Archicad, then what they do is they cost $500 for a commercial license, but it is a perpetual license, so that's pretty cool. I'm not sure if that... Oh, okay, free upgrades for 1 year, so it looks like you'd have to upgrade. So if you don't already have a free copy, it looks like you're going to be paying $500. So definitely, if you're poor, Twinmotion is your best option. Okay, let's go to D5 render. Okay, so the cool thing about D5 is they do have a community option, which is free. It has unlimited projects, a lot of materials. You can basically do everything except a lot of the assets are missing, the widgets are missing, and so you do get a lot for the Pro subscription. And it looks like it is... Yeah, I'm not sure what this means because there's a Pro and a Pro. I think what it's saying is if you pay for an annual subscription, you get a full year, and for 360, which real quick, 360 divided by 12. I should know this. I think that's what, 6? No, that's... I should know this. $30. So that's $30 a month versus if you go on the monthly subscription, that's $38 a month. And then Enscape pricing. All right, for Enscape pricing, this one is kind of in between D5 and Lumion for pricing. Please stop doing the cookie thing. Thank you, European Union, for making me click on that every time, because I just assume all these websites are spying on me anyways. Although I guess it is nice. So the fixed seat license is the best deal in my opinion. If you only have the one rendering machine, but if you need to be able to hop around machines or share it in an office, then yeah, floating license. But that's a lot more expensive, and these are yearly subscriptions. It does look like they have a monthly subscription for a fixed seat, but it's $77 a month. So yeah. So in terms of the different options that I've reviewed today, I honestly think I'm gonna go with Enscape. Based on what I'm seeing, the libraries that they have, I also like. Did you notice? Did you notice, guys? Look at this. Look at this. I want you to see. It doesn't look that great right now, but you see, that's the grass material from Archicad, and they automatically animate it into a rendered grass. That is so... That's such a nice feature. There's just so many things I like about it. The shadows are soft and not hard, which is really nice. I like how easy the editor is, and honestly, the quality is fantastic. It looks pretty good, and and the fact that it functions well with Archicad. The one thing that I would say is I wonder if there's an option to set where Enscape created elements um, transfer into which layer on Archicad, because obviously I don't want it on my wall's interior trim layer, because that would be stupid. But yeah, so I'm gonna need to look into that. But yeah, I think Enscape's the winner today. Um, in answer to Craig's question, he asks, which CAD image plan are you on? I am on the full CAD image plan. I think I've been on it so long that I think I pay $55 a month. That includes the doors and windows, it includes the CAD image coverings, it covers the keynotes. Now, based, and this is just my opinion, if you've watched the Archicad preview video um, about their new implementation over time, and maybe I should do like a video on that. But the they recently had a video where they actually went um, through kind of their roadmap for the coming years. They made some pretty good hints that a real keynote tool is coming to native Archicad. Now, if they do, um, and if it's actually good, like for example, like before version 21 of Archicad, when the stairs and railings tool um, was revamped and made actually usable, whew, I was using the CAD image stairs a lot because frankly that was the only option. Now I never use the CAD image stairs because the built-in stair and railing tools in Archicad are just so awesome. They are fantastic. I I could see us going the same way with CAD image keynotes, where I could see dropping that as a workflow and going to the dedicated keynotes. Now, I, one of my most popular videos is actually a video on using native keynotes in Archicad using the label tool. But that one has so many little bugs and issues with it that just just a bit frustrating to work with. And so I find that the CAD image keynotes are a lot more reliable, and I like the fact that you don't have to create like a separate layer and a separate schedule for every keynote schedule, like you do with the native Archicad keynoting. Whereas with CAD image, it's just super easy. It just works. And you don't necessarily have to tie it to elements, which is also nice because sometimes you just want a keynote that just says something on a plan that doesn't tie to an element. With that said, I do I do think that based on the hints in that Graphisoft roadmap, um, webinar, I do think they're going to be coming out with a new keynote tool natively within Archicad that will probably knock the socks off of anything that's come before. If history has its if history holds true, Graphisoft usually they're really slow to get features worked out, but once they finally release these newer features, they are insanely good. And so I'm very confident that that's going to be something coming soon. So I don't know. Hopefully this has been a helpful live stream, and thank you to those who have joined the live stream. I don't actually. Ooh, okay. Craig is telling me to try changing change the name of the material from grass to short grass, tall grass, and wild grass. Okay, in Archicad, or I assume that's Archicad. Um, so there's grass 3D. was I'm guessing that's not what you were talking about. Um, were you talking literally? Are you talking literally in the surfaces changing it? Okay. So this. I'm gonna try this grass name, and you said changing it to. Let's try wild grass. All right. Let's see what happens. Of course, that moves it way down here because of the alphabetical order. Okay. So that's pretty cool. Let's try that again. Options, surfaces. I'm going to go down to wild grass. Call it short grass. That is so wild. Thanks, Craig, for thanks for uh, the hint. That is really neat. So I'm really excited for this. And it looks like Craig also says that the preview says keynotes are coming, so that is great news. I do agree with you there, and I do agree with you. CAD image cabinets are pretty nice. I've since version 25, I've been using the image cabinets a little bit less, just because the built-in cabinets are pretty good, but yeah, there is still a good place for them. I think the biggest thing where the CAD image products are really great is the coverings and the doors and windows. That's like the number one thing that I love, and then the keynotes, of course. But yeah, the cabinets are pretty good, and so um, yeah, it's been a good product to have. Well, I've got to I've got to get ready to go up to a site visit to do some field measuring of an existing space. I'm going to be using my Matterport camera and measuring a space that is a remodel of a 100-year-old skyscraper. 3 floors of it, converting it from offices to apartments. So, yay. But hopefully you've found this live stream helpful. Um, I've been going for almost an hour 40. Wow. I guess I should have fit in lunch somewhere in there, but I'll just have to grab something at a drive-through on the way. So thanks for joining me. I'm the colorblind architect. Peace out.